Ever since the tragedy in Connecticut not so long ago, the debate over gun violence in this country has reached new levels of engagement from both the public and the news media. And obviously there's any number of related pieces of legislation being debated in Washington right now. So we wanted to see what Californians thought about this debate.
We saw near universal support for some gun control measures, mandatory background checks for anybody who buys a gun, increasing penalties for people who use guns to commit crimes, increasing penalties for people who illegally buy or possess guns, as well as enhancing the national database on the mentally ill to prevent people with severe mental disabilities from obtaining guns.
You name it. We asked it. And one question after another, Californians made it very, very clear to us that they felt that there needed to be more stringent limitations on the ability of the state's residents to access, to purchase, and to maintain ownership of a firearm.
Californians already have some of the strongest gun control laws in the nation, including an assault weapons ban. And we also have lower levels of gun ownership. 26% of Californians either personally own a gun or somebody in their household does. And that compares to 36% of households nationally. Some have suggested that the reason that there's greater support for gun control restrictions in California is because of our lower levels of gun ownership.
So not surprisingly, when you have a culture in this state, particularly among various minority communities, where gun ownership is not as much of a priority as in the Midwest or the Great Plains or the South, it shouldn't be that surprising that voters' attitudes towards gun control here in California are much different than in those other parts of the country.
When we asked voters theoretical questions about gun ownership and the role of the government, they were fairly divided. For example, half believed that we should just enforce the existing laws in the books, while half believe that we need common sense reforms. But when we ask about specific policies, we really saw a movement. For example, 4 out of 5 Californians supported requiring background checks to purchase ammunition, including thumbprints and ID. They also supported requiring all gun owners to be registered and insured and licensed like motorists.
One thing we've seen in the last several days is the United States Senate deciding over the objections of Senator Dianne Feinstein of California not to proceed with a proposal for an assault weapons ban. Now, in the United States of America, that assault weapons ban probably can't pass. In California, it would have passed overwhelmingly.